I'm Chris Charlton right here in the NJPW Event Center, where it is the first NJPW Extra of 2023, and that means it is time for a new beginning. But before the New Beginning series gets underway this Sunday, a big event in Yokohama Arena to come as NJPW takes on Noah. All of this is coming out from fallout from Wrestle Kingdom 17, so let's take a look at what happened at the Tokyo Dome and the very next night at New Year Dash. Let's start at the top, and with the new IWGP World Heavyweight Champion Kazuchika Okada. An intense second match in a double main event at the Tokyo Dome saw Switchblade Jay White doggedly pursue his challenger Okada as he sought to take the air out of his challenger's lungs and the air out of a hot, vocal Tokyo Dome. But it would be the Rainmaker that would emerge on top and end the night victorious, albeit with a challenge soon made against him for February the 11th in Osaka. Shingo Takagi was conspicuous in his absence from the main card at Wrestle Kingdom 17, but is making up for it with an intense January and February. At New Year Dash, he was victorious in a four-way match over Great Okan, Toriano, and Sho to be the first holder of the KOPW 2023 belt, and is now using that belt as collateral in his challenge to the Rainmaker for the New Beginning Tour Closer, live in English on February the 11th on NJPW World. But that's not all Shingo has to deal with in the New Beginning Tour, which starts January the 22nd in Nagoya against Great Okan, and even before that in Yokohama Arena against Kongo's Katsuhiko Nakajima, but more on that later. What of the former champion Switchblade Jay White? With the illusion and the persistence of control so important to the catalyst of professional wrestling, losing the main event in the Tokyo Dome and with it the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship was devastating, as he scrambled for a scapegoat, a reason for why the dominoes fell for him in the Tokyo Dome. He landed on Hikuleo. Back in September in Kobe, Hikuleo turned on Bullet Club to reunite with his family in Gorillas of Destiny and Hontai, something that Jay White deemed unforgivable. At New Year Dash, he brutally attacked Hikuleo with a steel chair before issuing a dangerous challenge for Osaka February the 11th. It will be Loser Leaves Japan, as Jay White seeks to cut Hikuleo's Japanese career off at the knees, but in so doing could threaten the destruction of 5 years of work and dominance for the Switchblade. What happens? We'll find out on February the 11th. Meanwhile, big events will take place in Sapporo to start the month of February on 4th and 5th. Hokkai Kitayao seeing big championship matches and singles grudge bouts, including Will Ospreay as he takes on Taichi. The world is still buzzing about Will Ospreay's battle over the IWGP United States Championship against Kenny Omega, already being lauded as the match of 2023 before January was even halfway done. The battle was intense, bloody, and at times even frightening. Ospreay's drive and determination to retain the IWGP United States Championship was evident, but it was Kenny Omega who got into the champion's head before almost driving several objects all the way through it. In the end, that included his knee with a Kamigoye and the one-winged angel to reclaim the red and gold belt. The next night, to the victor went the spoils and a dream tag team match at New Year Dash, Kenny Omega teaming with Kazuchika Okada. But for Will Ospreay, again, desperation and devastation. Setting himself a 1-year time limit in New Japan Pro Wrestling to get where he needed to be, Will Ospreay headed into Ota with a furious rage that he took out on Taichi, and a wild brawl would set up a singles match on February the 4th in Taichi's hometown of Sapporo. Also headed for a singles confrontation that night are Shota Umino and Tetsuya Naito. It was Keiji Muto's last New Japan Pro Wrestling match at the Tokyo Dome, but the take-home in that 6-man bout was Muto serving up Shota Umino to take the victory, and in so doing the Roughneck firmly put himself on Tetsuya Naito's radar after weeks of being ignored by El Ingobernable. Now this singles bout could establish Shota Umino as a major player in New Japan Pro Wrestling going forward. In a brace of championship matches in Sapporo, Catch 2-2 will be looking to defend their titles against just a couple of guys in Yoshinobu Kanemaru and Doki. on night 1, while night 2 will see the new IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion Hiromu Takahashi defend against Yo. Hiromu emerged from a four-way battle in the Tokyo Dome that so nearly went the way of Master Wato, but that saw Hiromu with his hand raised and with the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship for the 5th time and the first in almost 2 years. But the next night, a direct drive from Yo established the Chaos member as his next challenger. Elsewhere in New Year Dash, there were major moves made for TMDK. Zack Sabre Jr. is the brand new NJPW World Television Champion and was welcomed by Shane Haste and Mikey Nichols into the TMDK group immediately afterwards as its new frontman. So this 3-man band picked up a lot of steam at New Year Dash, with Haste and Nichols quickly scoring a win over the newly crowned IWGP Tag Team Champions Bishamon. Now Bishamon will have to face the challenge of Haste and Nichols, while Zack Sabre Jr. defends his world title for the first time against Tomohiro Ishii. But this 3-man band quickly became a quartet when Zack Sabre Jr. recruited young lion Kosei Fujita into the fold. This was all part of many moves and shakeups coming within factions over Wrestle Kingdom and New Year Dash, in part because of the dissolution of Suzuki-gun at the end of 2022. While Taichi, Kanemaru, Doki, and Takumi Chinoku are, for now, just 4 guys, and Zack Sabre Jr. is heading up TMDK, El Desperado and Minoru Suzuki are retaining their more independent, free-willing spirits, but might have Ren Narita in mind as a potential ally, at least for the time being, as they face House of Torture in Osaka February the 11th. But still, Los Ingobernables de Japón consistently seems to be the most talked about faction in Japanese professional wrestling, something which has stuck in the craw of Pro Wrestling Noah and Kongo for the last year at Yokohama Arena in 2022. LIJ defeated Kongo in a 5-on-5 tag team match, and the group headed up by Ken O made ill feelings known backstage at the Tokyo Dome. The challenge was issued, was accepted, and made official 2 days later. On January the 21st at Yokohama Arena, it will be once again NJPW versus Noah, and at the top of the card, best of 5 singles series for Los Ingobernables de Japón and Kongo, with Bushi taking on Tarasuke, Hiromu Takahashi facing Hajime Ohara, former partners Sanada and Manabu Soya going at it, Shingo Takagi facing Katsuhiko Nakajima, and Tetsuya Naito doing battle with Ken O. Can Kongo shake NJPW and LIJ's dominance of the Japanese space? We will find out on January the 21st, live in English on NJPW World Pay-Per-View. Do not miss what's sure to be a thrilling night of spectacular action from Yokohama Arena. And speaking of spectacular pay-per-view announcements, we would be remiss to not talk about Mercedes Moné, the women's wrestling icon, making a huge splash at Wrestle Kingdom 17 as she confronted KAIRI. And that match made for February the 18th at Battle in the Valley in San Jose, a sold-out card stacked full of incredible matches, with many more thrilling details still to come. So what an incredible series of events coming up in Japan and of course in the US as well. We are just a few weeks away from February the 18th in the sold-out San Jose Civic for Battle in the Valley, Mercedes Moné versus KAIRI, the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship on the line. Of course, tickets just went on sale this week for a pair of huge collisions this April in Washington, D.C. for Capital Collision, and then the next night in Collision in Philadelphia, with big events coming up in Australia to come as well. There's so much to talk about New Japan Pro Wrestling overseas. Let's talk about that next time on NJPW Extra with a full preview of Battle in the Valley and much more. Until then, go higenyo, sayonara.